Well, good Friday morning, 13th of January 2023, 2014 Ford Explorer 3.5 liter. We are going to do a water pump in this. So we're going to get into the breakdown in this video, and I'll show you the things we got to remove. We remove the engine appearance cover, not a big deal, and the lid for the air cleaner. All that has been removed in the front three coils. So that's pretty simple and basic. A couple of things we're going to get into here, and we'll show you. So as disassembly goes, we have to take the air intake off, valve covers, and all that, so we can get down to the front cover. This coolant hose that goes across top here, we got to take that off. Sometimes these are a little bit stubborn. They don't always like to come loose right away. So I work around it with a pick, and then I throw you down there, and it works out real good like that. So Jesus, come on. Usually once you get it, there we go. You see it starts turning on there. We should be able to get her now. Okay. Now we unclip that from here. It can be a little bit of a pain sometimes, but it'll come out of there. Move it down under your AC line. We can do this without discharging the air conditioning. It's just a little bit more difficult. So our next step is this vacuum line here. This is your vacuum boost to the brakes, and the vacuum chamber that's on the air intake does have a locking clamp on it, so let me go ahead and push that off there. And I like tuck it up there out of the way. There's a vacuum line here in the back of the intake manifold. If you can see that, there's a clamp here. Let me go ahead and release that clamp as well. That is not the lock back style clamp, so it's not quite as convenient to work on. Oh, come on. Slide that one back. I use my push pin tool to break them free, disengage them. These are push pin tools, the cheap ones from Harbor Freight. They don't last very long because the ends are actually quite weak. They break off pretty easy. But if you use them for only push pins, they probably last a lot longer. So we disconnect our evap purge valve there. There is this green release tabs on this purge line. We push those down, push that back, goes back to the left as like that, and we grab our pick tool, stuff it in there, pop that line off. Same principle over on the other side, and then we'll remove that line and get it out of the way. Okay, so removing that line was a little bit of a fight here. I'll turn that on high so you're not being blinded out. I did take and loosen most of the bolts that fasten the intake manifold down. There is one hidden back down under there. You might be able to see it if I get the light in there. Right there, kind of in the center of your screen. You gotta get that bolt out. That is the rear support for this back side of the intake. So 1/4 inch swivel socket, 8mm in size, and we'll reach back there and get that bolt out. They didn't put him in the best position, to be honest with you. You can actually probably see it better through there. If I can get you in that position, you can see the bolt I'm turning. Now, I might drop this bolt, but it's usually pretty easy to get. It lands on top of the transmission. I did not. Look at that. All right, so now we can go ahead and lift the intake manifold out. Sometimes you gotta decide where to set things. It's not always a lot of space around here. So something I noticed when we pulled this intake off is I can smell raw fuel. So I want to look and see if we have a fuel injector that's been dripping. And I'm actually using you guys as my inspection camera. That might just have been from running it in yesterday. But usually, that stuff is bled off by now, so, or evaporated off by now. So we will look into that a little bit further. For now, we're going to go ahead and show you how we're going to get the valve covers off. Okay, so one of your biggest problems you're going to run into when doing this job is these connectors on the coils. So you have this little red tab that you pull back on, and then they say you're supposed to push down on the center of the tab here in this spot and be able to release it. Well, 99% of the time, especially on a vehicle that's getting a few miles on it, this only has 126, which isn't too bad, but most of the time you're going to break that tab. So what I like to do is take a 90-degree pick tool like this one, and I like to come on from the coil side, and I feel that tip underneath there, and you can see, if we look closely, you can see that tab release. We pop it right off there without breaking it off. It takes much, much less leverage. We just put a little constant tension on that thing, and she pops right off. So we remove our bolts, pull the coils out. I think my battery's getting a little bit low. You know, I like to use my pick tool. Kind of just pop them up a little bit. Now we can move on to the electrical connectors on this side. This is a pop up the tab. There's a little purple tab on here. You pop those up. Kind of got to hook them with your fingernail or a pick tool. I don't have enough fingernail to do it. So we pop that little tab up. If we can here. Come on. You weren't that stubborn on the other side, were ya? I'm gonna remove this push pin connector. This one as well. Give us a little bit more flexibility with the harness. Come on. Don't argue with me today. Now you can see this little purple tab I was talking about right there. You gotta pick that up because it locks down. When you push that connector down, it locks down to seat it. So you gotta pop it up. And that is actually a release tab. Those actually work pretty well. Never had any real issues with breaking those off. So now it's just a matter of going by and releasing your wire harness retainers in a nice, easy fashion. I see we have some more wiring repairs to do. Many wiring repairs. So there's been some significant rodent damage to wires in here. These ones have been chewed. Those ones have been chewed. Those ones have been chewed. That one has been chewed right there. That one looks okay. So we are going to be doing some repair work on the wiring harness so that way those don't short out, corrode, and break off and have a future problem. So we will remove our retainers here. Big thing is when you're doing this is to take your time, be patient. I see it a lot of places, a lot of guys, when they're in a rush and they're trying to make money based on how they're being paid. Sometimes things get a little roughed up because they're trying to get on to the next job and make a dollar. So I understand, but at the same time, I don't. They don't work that way. So the back part here is a little bit more challenging, so I'm not going to bore you with the details of that, but same principle. Remove the wire harnesses, get everything unclipped, and I'll bring you back when we got some space to work here. All right, so we got our cordless ratchet here, 3-inch extension, 10mm deep well socket. I'm gonna go ahead, unbolt this valve cover. We could have released the taking the connectors off the fuel injectors first. It doesn't much matter which order you want to go in that respect. Most of this I'm doing back here by feel. While I'm taking one bolt out, I'm already feeling where the next one is. That way I can just keep moving on until I do that. I don't know if that one hit the ground or not. Let's see. Oh yeah, but it's way back underneath the hoist. That's why we have our, where is ya? Where are ya? I stick him in there. 8mm in there. Oh, come on. Why don't I see it? All right, never mind. We'll grab our Kubota magnet and we'll go fishing back here. Oh, I can see it. I thought it was going to be easier to grab another one, but apparently we got it. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, small pry bar and or your good old push pin tool. And like come down here, underneath the corner, see if she wants to pop loose. Sometimes these things get nice and stuck on the, I think we're gonna get these connectors out of here first. The injector connectors, we're gonna pop those up first, just to give us a little bit more room. Come on. Where is it? Come on. You can go down through the, that intake's off. There we go. There we go. There, now you can see we get a little bit more flexibility here with the fuel lines. So now we're going to grab a small pry bar. This is the one that Connor broke. We'll see if we can get this valve cover to crack loose. Just making sure all our bolts are free. What happens is a lot of times it wants to stick on these seals for the spark plug tubes. So we gotta work on those a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to take a pick tool and kind of break that bond on that sealed tube, on the tube, but just seal just a little bit if you can. Some of these, yeah, these ones, they're a little too tight to be able to do that. That lip is a little bit too robust for that number, so. Sometimes it takes a pretty good effort to get them to pop up. We'll double check our bolts, just make sure that they're free. So as that valve cover raises up, there you go. They aren't interfering with trying to remove it. So we're still stuck on our VCT solenoids over here. And you can go back down the cylinder head a little bit. Follow that down. There we go. Okay. Now, just work our way up over the top. Oh, I gotta get that connector off. Push pin off back here. I always forget about that one. You can hear the little ribs from the Christmas tree popping up through the plastic. Okay, rear valve cover's off. The other valve cover is much the same way, just a little easier to get to. I like to work from the back to the front just because that way I don't have this valve cover off while I'm working back there and have that much more opportunity to knock dirt and stuff down into the engine. So it just makes sense to me. I put it together from the front to the back. I'll bring it back. Excuse me. Okay, so we have valve covers, intake valve covers removed. We are kind of down to what I would consider base engine, where we are going to have to start taking off some hard parts. Valve cover gasket. The next step is going to be the front part of the engine, and then getting into your belt drive items, front crank pulley, front cover, all of that stuff. So we will do that in another video. Thank you guys for sticking around for part 1 of the 3.5 water pump replacement, along with timing components. Questions, comments, throw them in the fucking dingle box down below, and I'll try to get to them. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.